Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing out there? This Mike Melton back with the From Pain to Purpose podcast, episode 19. I got a very, very special guest tonight. Please let me introduce Leonard Murphy. How you doing, Leonard?
Hey, Mike, how's everything, man? Doing well, brother. Doing well. Thanks.
Man, I want to thank you for coming on. I had
Definitely.
saw some posts that you was putting up before, and I was like, who this guy? Like, he seemed like that he really into sobriety heavy. And then I
Yep.
saw that you was a life and sober coach. And I was like, yeah, I need to really reach out to him and bring you on. I did my research on your story, man. You got a very, very powerful story, and I think it'll be able to help a lot of people out there tonight, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you're ready, you could take us from the beginning, like what happened, how was it, what happened, and how it is now, brother.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. First of all, thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate you. Yeah, same here. I mean, I know we connected. We're actually connected through social media, and we've been kicking a little bit here and there. So, I know your story too, and it's a great
Mm-hmm.
platform you have. So, I appreciate you inviting me on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So yeah, I'll get right into it, man. I'll tell you my story. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Grew up in the projects, Barinkin projects. It was like a Bushwick, Williamsburg borderline area. It was the old Brooklyn, nothing like the new Brooklyn now. It's gentrified and everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to
Mm-hmm.
live there. It was tough Brooklyn, and I grew up in the projects out there. So lived with my mother, my father, and my sister. My sister's 4 years younger than me. And I mean, we just lived the life of project family. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
money wasn't there. That's why we lived in the projects. But we were together. And as I grew older, as we grew up there, there was stuff going on in the neighborhood. My mother really kept me and my sister away from. Like, we had to go up 3 blocks to go play with my cousins all the time. We never really played in the projects, within the projects. We knew everybody because we lived there, but my mother was like, we could be here, but we're not going to be of the projects. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
she kept us out of there. But what was going on, the family dynamic was my father, he was the only one who worked. My mother stayed home. And that was a little confusing to me too later on. And I'll get to that later on as I talk. But my father worked, and but my father also drank. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he drank a lot. So as I'm growing up, I'm starting to see him drink all the time, all the time. And I see, my father would drink every single day. He would come home from work, sit on the couch and drink. On the weekends, all day on the couch drinking. Unless he went out to hang with his boys. Always, refrigerator is always stocked with beer or alcohol. The alcohol cabinet was always stocked with liquor. And as a little kid, you just see your father. He does what he does. He drank in front of me all the time and my sister. I'm like, okay, daddy's drinking beer. Like, it was no big deal. But as I got older into my preteens and teenage years, I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, I felt like, I saw him, like, I saw his life changing. I saw the hurt in his face every day. He wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm seeing my father is not a happy man. Like, we always, as sons, we look up to our father. He's our hero.
Facts.
I was
Facts.
no different. I was, no matter what. My father was drinking a lot, but he was still my hero. And he was a quiet dude. I don't like to put labels on people, but as you say, he's introverted. He's an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
But he's my dad. So, no matter what, my dad was always perfect. He was perfect to me until I started to get old and see how alcohol was affecting his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to question it because he was a diabetic too. So he was sickly a little. He was sick a little bit. And I knew he was sick. And one time I overheard my mother talking to him about, the doctor said you need to stop drinking, or it's going to affect your health to the point where it's life threatening. And he still didn't stop. So now I was starting to question, like, why the doctor told you to stop, but you may die. Why aren't you stopping? And then I started to look at, why we living in the projects. You know what I mean? I felt like that was keeping my father back. Like, and now I'm starting to look at him like, wow, this guy, he has no ambition, no drive. All he kind of does is drink. And now it's like 16, 17. I'm like, you're starting to see things. I'm with my friends up the block who live in a better neighborhood, a few blocks up, who live in a better neighborhood than us. And I'm like, why we live now? I'm questioning, like, yo, why do we live in the projects? Why do we live here? And if anybody who knows the projects in Brooklyn, especially back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, I mean, dirty, rodents,
Mm-hmm.
roaches, no one's taking care where you live. And it was for low income families. You know what I mean? So, and I would go I would go be with my friends who are in nicer neighborhoods, clean, no piss in the elevators, nothing. Then I come back home and I'm like, yo, why do we live here? So I started like started to be angry at my father, like, because he was the leader. He was he's the
Mm-hmm.
one working. Why are we living here? So, and then I started to realize it was his drinking. And he
Mm-hmm.
even was going to be able to get a promotion at work where he was going to have to move the family to Jersey. He turned it down and they had to let him go. And when that happened, his life, I really saw his life take a nosedive. Like, I mean, drinking all the time. He went back to an old job that he hated, to a boss that
Mm-hmm.
disrespected him. So now
Mm-hmm.
he went from this clean cut dude, every day I see go to work, to now he's doing minimal work. He's dressed disheveled, sometimes looks a little dirty, and just, facial hairs all out of place. And I could see it taking effect on him. And then, I mean, the day before my 18th birthday, he passed away.
Mm.
Like the alcohol took its effect, had a heart attack, found out he was doing drugs. So, and that's what happened with him. I mean, he was, now I look back, he was an alcoholic. He had an issue with alcohol.
Did you ever have a chance to like talk to your mom about that while it was going on, about his drinking, like being that you was getting older in age and sometimes the mom listens a little more, you know what I'm saying? If you felt like it was too much friction to approach him, did you ever like take the time out to reach out to his mom when he was, I mean, to your mom when he was going through that battle, to like inquire like what was really going on with him?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I actually did. But I mean,
Mm.
growing up, and this is the thing in black household,
Yeah.
you don't question
At
too
all.
much. And if you
Yeah.
question it, they'll put you in your place real quick. So I remember, and I asked my mother, like I said earlier, when I heard that the doctor told him you have to stop or you may die, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I went to her and I was like, why doesn't daddy stop?
Mm-hmm.
And my mother, typical enabler of my father, told me that's the one thing he enjoys. We're just gonna leave him alone.
Mm.
And you look back at that now, and like, I remember when I first used to look back at it and be like, how stupid that sounds. But
Mm-hmm.
then you understand, like, that was the household back then. Like,
Yeah.
you drink. Sometimes you drink too. You couldn't anymore. You passed out. You
Mm-hmm.
partied all the time. Or if it affects your family, you wouldn't dare say or admit you have a problem, or dare go look for help, because that would make you like a weak man.
Mm-hmm.
This is a black man, he was on the same week. And the wife, my mother, was there to just say, you're right, you don't have a problem. So, and she still so this day would probably tell you she didn't have a problem, but that was that generation. That's how
Indeed.
we
Indeed.
behave towards alcoholism, drug abuse, and
Mm-hmm.
addiction. You know,
When you, after he passed, did you suffer any survivor's remorse or any guilt in terms of saying like I could have did more if I would have did this, if I would have really pressed him or anything like that, maybe he would have got the help? Did you go through any of those kind of feelings and emotions?
I mean, I was young. I was 18 years old. Like I say, he died before
Okay.
my 18th birthday, day before my 18th birthday.
Mm.
So my feelings were, and it's funny, even back then, Mike, I knew why he passed away.
Mm.
Like, he drank so much. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't take care of himself. He ate horribly. He had diabetes. He had childhood diabetes. He wasn't supposed to live past 30. He died when he was 40.
Mm.
I kind of knew, and it wasn't like I knew I couldn't tell him anything. And because that's how I
Mm.
was raised. You don't question
Yeah.
your parents, what they're doing. You don't, even if you're doing it out of love or care. You're a child. You
Yeah.
see, not heard. You don't speak
Yeah.
until you're spoken to. That's how
Yeah.
it was. Just like any other black household back then. That's how it was in my house.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Stay in
you
the
don't
child's
dare
place. Yeah.
right, you don't dare tell your father you drink too much. As a teenager, I'd have
Mm-hmm.
got my head knocked off. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. I didn't feel that, and I didn't realize. I knew why he passed away, even as a
Mm-hmm.
young child. But I didn't even think of. That wasn't even a thought, because I knew I couldn't say anything to him.
when you look back at it now and how educated you are now in the field and through your own journey, do you look at it as a hereditary thing with the alcoholism, or was it a fear of success, or like, or was it just straight depression?
With him or with me?
Yeah, with him.
Oh, with him. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure. And again, that generation, it wasn't a problem. If he knew it in his head, I'm sure he was like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. You know what I mean? There wasn't
Facts,
for him.
facts.
They wouldn't admit it. So I'm sure. I mean, his parents drank. You
Mm,
know, my mother's parents drank. My grandmother died from this disease as well.
hmm hmm
And if we get to it, I'll tell you, a few people in my family died of addiction.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
So,
it.
so I'm sure, and the childhood trauma, and I look back now, I'm sure he had traumas, unresolved trauma. So on
Hmm
top of his unresolved trauma, and not being able to be honest with himself or with others and admit he had a problem, you could tell he was depressed. You know,
Mm,
alcohol was definitely controlling his life. Definitely,
yeah, yeah.
anyone could see it, but him. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
So I'm sure a lot of it he was depressed. Um, we lived in the projects. He had no ambition to leave because that would mess up with his drinking schedule. So,
I
you know,
understand that. I remember
yeah,
going
I
through
mean,
that.
I do too. Like he was
Yeah,
like, while I'm in the projects, I'm paying $200 in rent or whatever it
yeah,
was back then. I got to
yeah.
go take a new job, new responsibility.
Facts,
I could
facts,
just stay
facts,
here, drink, and whatever. So, and I get it. I
facts.
get it now, but back then, yeah,
Yeah.
it hurt.
Now, so what happened with you after that? Now it's your birthday. Now you could carry on.
So, yes, my senior year of high school. Um, you know, I'm still spring is coming up, so I'm still trying to finalize what college I'm going to go to. Um, I'm seeing if I could get any scholarships or anything, and but then everything stops because my father passes away. Then
Mm,
with but grace of God, my mother found the insurance policy that was hidden in the drawer in my father's
mm,
drawer as she was cleaning up because we didn't know what was going to happen. Remember, my mother wasn't working. Me and
mm-hmm,
my sister were in school. We were both in high school. So we didn't know what was gonna happen. So by the grace of God, she found that money. So that kept us afloat. Um, one of our best friends told me about a program for low income families, HEOP program, higher education program
mm-hmm,
at NYIT. That's the college I went to undergrad at, and I got into school. So we hustled, got into school, and actually I went on a free ride. So
mm. Oh,
got to
blessings.
school.
Yeah.
So and my mother always instilled in me at an early age that we go to college. Like it wasn't even an option. So when my father was kind of in his own world, my mother still made sure we went to school, got good grades, stayed safe, stayed on track. And I knew, and even my father passed away, you still going to school. That's why we had to get up. Okay, let's figure it out. How you gonna get to school? So I'm visiting schools. I played a little ball in high school, so I thought maybe I could go get
Yeah.
a scholarship, but that wasn't happening. So
Mm-hmm.
man, like the grace of God, God was watching, and I got into school. So like she wanted to, and she told me that's what's gonna happen. So I got into college. So now I'm in school. So February, all this happened by or the summer, August, I was in school
Mm-hmm.
the same year.
Mm-hmm. So you get in school. Is that the first time you picked up the drink yourself?
Yeah. So I think I mean in high school we drank a little
Mm-hmm.
bit here and there. I hang out with the boys. We get 140. It'd be like 10 of us on the corner. We're all sharing it. You know what I mean? Back in the
Uh-huh.
day. So that's the most I drank. Little here and there. I remember one time, two episodes I had before I went to college. One was we were outside. I was outside drinking with my boys. I drank a little too much. Came home and just threw up all over the bathroom. So my mother and father
Mm.
busted in the door. Was like, "What happened?" And they could smell the alcohol.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
they thought it was hilarious. They thought it was funny. And
mhm,
it was like, "See, you learn your lesson. Don't drink anymore."
mhm,
So I didn't get punished or anything. They thought me getting sick was the punishment. I mean,
mhm,
little did they know later down the line, it was a little more deeper than that. But
mhm,
that was one episode. And then I remember right before I went away to college that summer, me and my boys went to a party. I got a little drunk, and that was the first time I blacked out. Like I don't remember anything.
mm,
And I fell asleep at the party. They had to like carry me home. But then then I went off to college. But that was it, those two episodes, and then I went off to college. So college, of course, the drinking picked up heavy. Picked up heavy.
mm. What prompted it to pick up heavy in college? Because I know for myself, that was the first time that I drank. It was the first time I faced adversity. It
Right.
was the first time I was away from home. The first time I struggled academically. The first I had culture shock too. I came from an
Right.
all black high school, and now I'm at St. Peter's around all these people of different races, and I went and when I took that first drink, it was like, whoa, this is what I've been
Yeah.
looking for all my life. You know what I mean? So, what prompted you to like pick up the level once you got in college?
Similar story. Similar story. So I go to college, first time on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, like you just said, hanging out. There are people from all over the country are there,
Mm-hmm.
white, black. Um, my high school again. My high school. I went to it was kind of mixed high school, but now I'm here with adults. Grown ups are there. Not only adults, there's grown up women on campus,
Mm-hmm.
and
uh-huh.
I'm like, whoa! I got my own room.
Uh-huh.
Me and my boy are roommates, so I'm like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was it was a culture shock, and two, socially, it was a shock for me because I went from
Mm.
playing on the basketball team in high school, knowing every single person in the hallway that
Mhm.
in the school to not know anybody.
Mhm.
Now it's just like me and my boy. Like all through other schools, I knew everybody. We went to neighborhood schools, so you know everybody all growing up. This is the first time out on my own, and I don't know anybody. So I'm trying to talk to girls. We go in the parties, and I'm like just quiet, like sitting there. Girls is like, "What's wrong with you? You're not talking. You don't talk. You mute." I was like, "Nah." And I'm a shy dude as it is. So I'm like, I'm extra shy now because I'm around all these
Yeah.
women, these are grown women. I'm 18 years
Mhm.
old. So then we go to a party one day. You call it pre-gaming. I
Yeah.
think they still call it that. We about to go to a party on another campus. Fellas are together. Me and my boy go into the room and they drinking. I'm like, "Oh, you're drinking now?" So I started drinking. I get to the party and I'm the life of the party. I'm talking to everybody.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
That's how I
laughing.
go.
People laughing at my jokes. And
Uh-huh.
now everybody's like, "Yo, Lynn, you was mad funny last night." I don't remember nothing. So, but
Wow.
everybody's telling me I'm funny. I remember I'm talking to girls. I'm getting numbers. And I'm joking about the laughing and talking to women. But that actually brought me out of my shell. That
Mhm.
gave me the confidence
Mhm.
to go speak to people in a social arena, social environment. Like now I could go to a party or I could go to the lounges and stuff on campus and speak to people if I had a little drink. So
Mhm.
from there, once that happened, that first night when I was out talking to everybody, laughing it up, I was like, okay, that felt good. And I was always a shy kid growing up. But I didn't
Mhm.
talk a lot. But I knew people. And if I knew you, I spoke. But they always knew me as I wasn't like I would go up to people and talk to them. If I knew you, of course, I speak to you all day. But meeting new people, that wasn't my thing. But when I got to college and felt so socially awkward, that
Mhm.
drink gave me the confidence to go speak to people.
Now, while you in college and you getting the girls, you drinking, you partying, when did you notice some type of increase or habit developing?
Yeah, so I remember and it's funny in college was a funny thing. So I remember my freshman year, I had a class. I had freshman studies. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, all you gotta do is show up, you get an A.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm starting my freshman year, I'm drinking and I'm not waking up on time. And
Mm.
I'm used to getting up in high school at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Like boom, 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 get up, no problem. But I'm drinking, and this class, I remember because the class was on a Friday, and in college we start partying on Thursday.
Yep. Yep.
So you know.
Yep.
So every Friday morning I couldn't get up to this class. And I'm like, is it because I'm hanging out? Like, why can't I get up? And I end up failing freshman studies. So something clicked in my like, all right, you gotta stop drinking. You can't take my first thought was like, you can't be drinking on Thursday night if you got a class the next day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then I was like, oh, I just won't take a class on Fridays anymore. So the next semester I didn't take any Friday classes. But that's the first time I kind of saw like, okay, the partying at least was keeping me back. That's a class I should have got an A in. I got an A in everything else. I failed freshman studies.
Mhm.
But then as I started, and I had good grades in college. I joined the fraternity,
Mhm.
Black fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, joined the
Mhm.
fraternity. So that was all about achievement. So it wasn't like I could get C's and D's. My grades are always good. But I started to get the reputation as they call me Drunk Lynn, right?
Mm.
So my schoolwork, I was doing my schoolwork, but the partying, now it turned into life of the party to like, oh, Lenny's drunk again. Now he
Yeah.
acted up a little bit.
Mhm.
Lenny's just drunk. Now they call me Drunk Len. So I'm like, it's not that cool of a nickname after a while.
Yeah. Mhm.
Everybody calling you that on campus. So I kind of saw like, okay, my drink is getting a little crazy, but I felt it was still all together. Again, that was that stage where I felt I didn't have a problem. But
Mm.
if I look back at it, I kind of knew things were going sideways.
Now, did you meet your wife in college or you met her after college?
I met her after college. I met her a year after I graduated. She was a senior in school, and I went actually up to a school to a fraternity party. My fraternity had a party, and she was there. So I met her at
Mhm.
that party. She was a senior in college. She went to Stony Brook, and yeah, I met her. Yeah, we met. She was 21. I was 24. So I was 2 years out of school because I was 24, and she was 21, turning 22. So we met right after college. Right after college.
Take us to that moment. Like, how was it? Did you know she was the one? Did you know you was gonna try to build a life with us? Like, take us back to that moment.
Oh man, of course, man. Yeah. So I look across the room. So I was there with a couple of my frat brothers, and my frat brother's girlfriend was across. So she was his. He's my. I was with my frat brothers. His girlfriend, who was actually his fiance at that time, was an AKA.
Mm-hmm.
So she was with our other AKA sisters, and my ex-wife was an AKA. So I saw she had this zebra printed jacket on. So I was like, who's that light skinned chick with the zebra jacket on?
Yeah.
At first, I'm making fun of her. He's like, oh, that's such and such friend. You want to meet her? I said, yeah, she's cute. So she comes over, and she acting like she didn't know I wanted to meet her. So she walks by me, so I grab her hand, and we start talking, and we start laughing. We was talking the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
So and I just out of college. You know, I had a girlfriend in college, but I had graduated 2 years ago. So I'm just out there trying to, get a job, get a career going. And I met her. And like with me, that's how things happen, like especially relationships. They just happen. And after a while, yeah, I did know that she's gonna be my wife. I did know that.
Did you try to did you present her with your representative? Like, did you try to courtail the drinking a little bit? Or was you just Lynn, who was in the same Lynn that was in college when y'all first like met and hooked up?
Oh, now I sent the representative, of course, man. So I can let her know that up front. So yeah, man, yeah. So yeah, it's funny. It's a funny thing, right? Because when I first met her, we used to go out. I did not drink in front of her in the beginning.
Wow.
I did not even take a drink. She knew I drink, but I would tell her I go out with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
First couple of years, I didn't even drink in front of her.
Mm.
And but then later I did, of course. But yeah, I didn't, and she didn't. She had no idea. Even up until the point where we got married, she didn't know how bad it had gotten for me.
So how did you was just juggling two lives, or you just cut it down totally, or you just didn't drink in front of her, but you made up for it when you went out and stuff?
Yeah, I definitely made up for it when I went out. Like I wouldn't drink in front of her. I just made it whenever we met up, whether it was on the weekends, I was with her during the week. I just didn't drink. But when I went to party, I'm partying, or during the week when I'm home by myself, yeah, that's when my drinking took place. So yeah, she didn't like, again, she knew I drank, and she knows sometimes I get a little drunk and was happy go lucky, but she didn't know to the effect where I was at, how bad it was gonna get.
Mm-hmm. When did she first notice, and what situation took her to the point to get her to notice, and what did she say about it?
So it's funny this ended up. I met her. We dated for about 9 years, and we ended up getting married. And we never lived together before we got married. Our parents wasn't having it, so we knew we wasn't living together. But what happened was one night we were eating dinner. She made dinner. She puts out the dinner. I go out. I bought a couple of bottles of wine, put them in the cabinet or whatever. I take out the bottle, pour some wine at dinner. And I did this this is like when we first moved in. So this is like the second week of marriage, like after we come back from the honeymoon or whatever. And it got to the fourth night where I'm pouring wine, and she's like, why are you drinking every night at dinner? And I could see on her face, like she was so confused. And I was like, I drink. She was like, and I remember this clearly. She was like, you pour the drink every night this week at dinner. She said, I put out dinner, you go straight to the cabinet, get your glass, your wine glass, and pour it. And I could tell she was disappointed too. Like, I didn't know, like, I never knew this about you. You drink. She's like, you drink every night at dinner? And I know I do. So I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? You don't know I drink? He was like, I know you drink, but you literally been drinking every night since we've been home.
Mm.
And I saw that in her eye, like she was shocked. And I was like, why are you shocked? But yeah, she didn't know really what was going on. Because I went from not really drinking in front of her to maybe once in a while to now we live together. Now she's seeing what I do at home. That's what I used to do at home. I drink all the time.
So in essence, did you kind of start turning into how your father was?
Yeah, I mean, again, she wasn't like, it was, she didn't make it okay to drink in the house. You know what I mean? So it was like, she was like, my mother was an enabler. My ex-wife definitely was not. She would scream and yell like, you need to stop. So I never really did it in the house. And plus, like, she got pregnant right away. We got pregnant right away after our honeymoon. Like, our daughter was born before our first year anniversary. So I mean, but she was pregnant during that time. So I would after work stop at a bar on my way home and drink. You know, so I was coming home drunk every night, but I wasn't drinking in front of her. But I was definitely drinking. She saw it.
So how did you fend her off? Because I know, like, I hear the stories about it. I had many enablers in terms of relationships when I was going through my alcoholism. So I never really had like that person that be like, yo, like, you need to stop this and this, blah, 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 blah. Maybe my wife now, when I was younger and I used to see her, but she was doing some smoking her weed and stuff. So I used to tell her, like, yo, look what you doing.
Right.
So I knew how to fend that off. Like, how was you able to like fend it off? Did you just start taking it more out the house? Did you just start like, drinking before you got home or this or that? Like, how did you fend it off? Because I know we like to drink in comfort. Like, we don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was doing my thing, we don't like somebody just on us, because it kind of takes away from it. So how was you able to fend her off during that time?
Yeah, so I would just take it out the house. You're right. I could not drink in comfort in the house with her there. Because she got to the point where she was like, yo, questioning why I'm drinking, or tell me you need to stop drinking, or why are you drinking. So I would be like, okay, I'll just stop at a bar on the way home from work and drink and then come home. Or on the weekends, I'll say I'm going to do something. I'll be at a bar all afternoon drinking. I'm going to see the game. I'm going to meet up with the fellas. And I'll be at a bar by myself just drinking because, I didn't want her yelling at me all the time about my drinking. I would go rent a hotel room for the weekend and say I was going away just so I could sit and drink the whole weekend and not have in peace and not have her bother me. That's how bad it is.
I understand that. Now, how did this affect you getting a career, maintaining a job, that kind of thing, in terms of the drinking and really being focused?
Yeah, so I mean, it took a huge effect. Out of college, I was focused. Like I said, my grades were good, and coming out of college, it wasn't really the drinking wasn't really affecting me to a point where my career, my health, or anything like that. I mean, so I got accepted to a manager training program at JP Morgan Chase. One of the top programs in the country for finance. I was in finance for 25 years, but that was the beginning of my career in finance and right out of school. And so finished the program, became a branch sales manager. So I was a young bank executive in my early 20s, mid 20s, working. Great job.
You was killing the cash. Huh? So you was killing cash.
Yeah, basically. So it was good times back then. Good times. So everything was good, but the drinking started to progress because now I'm out of school. I have a job. I went through a program. Now I had to perform at work. I got sales quotas. I got this and that. The pressure's on. So now I'm drinking all the time. Now I start drinking in the mornings before I go to work. And I bring you to this point in the story because you said how it affected my career. I worked so hard to get into this management training program. About 1 year out, while I'm at the branch I'm working in, I make this huge mistake because I drank the morning before I got to work. So I'm a little buzzed, or I think I'm a little buzzed. That's it. And I make this huge mistake, not following protocol, open this big account for somebody. Come to find out the checks were fraudulent. The guy came the next day, took the money out. So all the money's out the bank. So because of my mistake, the bank lost about $200,000. So they fired me right on the spot. And I was like, I said, I drink. I was drinking all week before I came to work. So I knew, okay, I was drinking, but still not admitting I had a problem. It just went in my brain real quick and went out. And then I was like, all right, move on. So, and again, I'm blaming everybody else for that error. Even though it was my error, I'm blaming the auditor because she didn't catch it. I'm writing letters to the district manager, how this is not fair. But I drank before I went to work, and I made a huge error. There was no way they was letting me stay. But I'm fighting to the end, writing letters instead of like looking at myself, which again, I was still on that point of my addiction where I wasn't even admitting I had a problem yet.
Facts. I've been there. I almost had a DUI down in Tom's River one time, and it wasn't the fact that I was drinking, it was the fact that I was in Tom's River. I shouldn't have been down there. That's how sick that thinking is. You know what I'm saying? Like so when you got home after this happened, how did you explain this to your wife?
Well, was he married? Yeah, we was married then. We was in that time we was engaged because this is early in my career. So we was engaged. But I didn't even tell. I told her. I told her they let me go. So I made her some story. I didn't even say I got fired. I said we got laid off. So I never even told her the truth, like what happened. And yeah, so I was because we were engaged because I was still at home by myself. That's how I got to drink before I went to work. So then I went from that career. So I told her. I basically told her I just got laid off. So I was looking for work. Then I found before we got married, I stayed in financing, but I got into mortgage banking. So now I was at this job, which is even more fast paced, more stress, working on commission, but a lot more money. And again, that environment just made it worse. Didn't help my drinking at all. Not at all.
So at what point did the rubber meet the road with the wife? And I know it had to come to some kind of point because this is how these stories go. You know what I'm saying? I've been down that same road too. Like, when did the rubber meet the road? Was it a separation, a divorce? Like what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, and it's funny, like we go through these things and we're hurting the people that love us the most.
Facts.
And we think, and I remember just saying how annoying my ex-wife was. But she loved me. She cared about me. She didn't want to see me doing this to myself. So that's why she yelled and screamed. But her yelling and screaming was for me to stop killing myself, stop destroying myself, right? So to the point where she didn't yell and scream no more. She was like, now I'm going to find a way out. You know what I mean? And we look back, and I tell brothers all the time, you mad at your wife because she loves you though. And there's going to be a point if you keep going on that road, she's not. That caring, that love is not going to be there for you. And that's what happened to me. My wife is the most annoying person in the world. Oh my God. And I was going to meetings and stuff and telling people, my wife just yells at me. She thinks she can yell me sober. I mean, no, she just wanted to yell me. She didn't know what to do. She's not an addict. She's not an alcoholic. She just saw her husband, who she loved, destroying his life. You know what I mean? And again, we don't know what to do. We don't, even the people around us, we don't know as Black men to admit that we have a problem and go get help.
Facts.
Our families don't know. Our wives don't. Our women don't know that either. Oh, maybe you should go to AA. That's the far as it goes. Like, we don't know. So neither one of us knew what was going on. But we knew I was a burden to her and the children. I wasn't there for my daughters. I have 2 daughters. By this time they're born, they're babies, and I'm not there for them. I'm definitely not there for her, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Then it started again. I wasn't there financially because I wasn't making no money because I'm drinking all the time. So she got, after all the kicking and screaming, yelling, I'm going to meetings, then I'm relapsing, going to meetings, relapsing. She even went to Al-Anon. She's trying to do her best to understand what's going on, but I just keep effing up. I'm getting DUIs in the middle of the week where she has to go get the car in the morning to take the girls to school.
Mm.
So I'm really messing stuff up. I mean, I'm surprised she hung on for so long. So one day she was like, she got a job in DC working for the White House. This is when Obama was in office, and she always wanted to work for the White House. So she got a job with Department of Commerce, and she left. Went to DC with my daughters.
Mm.
And Mike, I was so, and back to my father. Remember, he was just, he didn't want to take that job because he didn't want it to break into his drinking time.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of my mind, I was so happy that she was leaving with the girls.
I was gonna ask you that because I knew.
I could drink.
Yeah,
And
100%.
and I didn't have to have her yelling at me every day. I didn't
Yeah.
have to wait to take the girls to school before I could start my drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even fight her when she said she's taking the girls. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's how twisted our thinking be.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like I could remember being retired from what I went through, and had a nice income coming in, retirement, and with my basketball company. And my ex-wife, my second wife, when she used to go to work, I was like excited. Or if she had so I could drink all day. Then she might have a call because she was on diapers, and they had like a special unit where they might call at night and she gotta go. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And anytime when she was gone and I didn't have to worry about like her catch, even though she wasn't on me like that, it had turned into the embarrassment of her seeing me over and over.
Right.
With the now I gotta stand up and act like I'm not drunk, and that makes me look even more stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
But I give your wife that credit of being able to make that decision to go down there, because a lot of times they stay until that person dies.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now she's gone. When did it take it to the point where you were getting desperate?
So yeah, so she's gone. She leaves, and you're right. If she didn't leave, who knows? My daughters wouldn't have been okay. She wouldn't have been okay. So yeah, that was a blessing. So she left. So now we own the apartment that we're in, but she left. So now I'm to the point I'm drinking all the time. I'm not even making any money at work. I'm getting paid on commission, but since I'm home drinking all the time, I'm not making any money. So she's in DC paying all the bills basically. So she was like, "We got to sell the place." I was like, "Whatever." So we sold the place. I had to move in with my mother at that point. Moved in. So I stayed there for a couple of months. Then I found my own place. And while I was with my mother, again, I never really drank in front of my mother. So I was kind of cooled off then. I would go out every once in a while, but so much that you could do, you live with your mother. And you're like, I'm like late 30s by this time. But then I get my own spot. And then that's when the drinking starts ramping back up again. But now I'm like, because now my daughters are gone, and I'm like, I'm missing them grow up. Now that's when it starts to hit me. Like, okay, in the beginning it was cool. I could just drink, sit here and drink until we had to sell the apartment. But now I'm like, I'm going down to DC once a week, every other weekend. I'm only seeing them twice out of the month. They're literally babies, and they're growing up. And I'm not. Every time I go down there, one has a tooth in, or the tooth came out, and I'm like, I'm missing all this. So now I'm getting depressed because I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna see my daughters. Then my ex-wife started dating somebody, so they even hit me harder. I'm like, yo, another guy's gonna be around him, and I didn't like. We got divorced. They were 2 not even 2 for like 3-1, like, and I'm like, I'm missing their whole childhood. So that's when I really started to get depressed. When I felt that, like I really felt that.
And what was that moment like? Did you get addicted to the depression? Like, did it get real deep?
Yeah, because that's when the drinking really ramped up. Like now I'm like, okay, I do have a problem. This is the first. That's during that. When they were in DC, the first time I realized I do have a problem. So I did what most people do. I heard of AA, so started going to meetings. And in the beginning, it was good because I met other people, and people pulling me to the side, talking to me. So that was the first time I kind of started working, or knew what sobriety was, at least, or got curious about it, because I finally admitted I had a problem. But again, you go through these stages. I was curious about sobriety, but I wasn't ready to get sober.
Facts. So what was the turning point in your life that you was like, all right, this is it?
So fast forward, journeys. um, in rehab, and in and out of rehab, out intense outpatient, things like that, detoxing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I'm back. I even got back with my ex-wife for a couple of years, for a few years, but then my drinking just kept going and we had to separate again.
Mm.
This time it was more like, okay, you back to doing the same thing. We got to end it. And I was like, all right. So I left. Um, and now the drinking is really bad. I moved to another place by myself, and then I'm just like, now I'm like really out of it. And this is close to the end where I just surrendered. I'm drinking all day, every day. Still working in finance, but
Mhm.
again, not making any money because I'm not. Then at this point I'm relapsing. I'm sober for a few months, relapsing. Sober for a year, relapsing. So I've had some time sober throughout these whole years up to this point, but
Mhm.
still not serious. Not taking my sobriety 100% serious.
Mhm.
I moved to Jersey. I never forget. I was in this luxury building in Bayonne. Don't even ask me how I got in there. I wasn't really making any money. I wasn't making no money, so I still don't know to this day how I got in there. But I'm not paying the rent because I'm drinking all day every day. So now I'm on this binge, like 9, I think 7, 8 month binge, just drinking all day every day. And at this point, Mike, now I'm really depressed, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy liquor every day, and when the money's gone out of my account, I'm not even checking the balance in my account. I was like, when it's gone, I'm done. I'm killing myself,
Mm.
and I'm just drinking. I literally got evicted from my apartment. They gave me 2 months to move everything. I used to sneak back in the apartment at night
Mm.
because I Jimmy the lock and sleep there at night. So I was basically homeless because that apartment wasn't mine, but I had to walk around all day and dirty because I wasn't going to work, or I would just say
Mhm.
I'm working from home, have my laptop. So I would go to a coffee shop or wherever, go to my mother's house. I'm living out of a bag. No one
Mm.
knows I'm evicted really because so I'm sneaking back in the apartment at night to sleep, and then have to wait to leave again when nobody's in there. So I'm on this binge, and during this time, my aunt, who's like a second mother to me, who's also having her own struggle, had years of struggle with alcoholism.
Mhm.
Um, but she was she stayed to herself in an apartment and just drank. Now we knew she drank a lot, but we didn't know to this point where now she's in and out of the hospital. Now she's in the hospital while I'm on this bench, but she's in there she's in for extended stay. So I'm like, okay, I don't have anywhere to go. I can go to the hospital to see my aunt and just hang with her for a minute. That's somewhere for me to go until I can sneak back into the apartment at night. So, but as I'm going to see her, I'm bringing liquor and drinking in the bathroom, like while I
Mm.
go visit her. That's how bad it was. Then, but now my aunt is getting sick. Now she's literally her organs are shutting down from her alcoholism. So now we're like, damn, we didn't know she was drinking that much. We didn't realize.
Mhm.
And the doctor pulled me over. He was like, your aunt, she drinks a lot, right? And I was like, yeah, I know she has a problem. He was like, it's taking an effect on her. Her organs are shutting down.
Mm.
I'm like, whoa. And so I'm still on this binge, drinking all day every day. She's in the hospital dying. And I'm going up there and I'm drunk, but I'm watching her die. And she's looking in my eyes. Even though she's out of it, she's looking at me. And I could tell she was trying to look at me like she was sad. She was like, why? Why are you doing this? Look at me. She was like, look at me.
Mm.
And could be making this up on my mic. It could be God sending me a sign, sending me a sign back
100%.
then.
100%.
She looked at me with sadness in her eyes. She was like, why are you doing this? Look at me. Look at me. I'm dying because of drinking. And you over here coming to see me drunk. And all this is playing in my head. All this is playing in my head. But I'm still doing the same thing. Waking up, going to see her,
Mhm.
drinking. Still on this. Once the money's gone, there's no reason for me to live. I don't have a relationship with my daughters. My ex-wife not even talking to me,
Mhm.
like about to take me back to court. Like she's not talking to me. My daughters, I don't have nowhere to even go see my daughters. Like I don't have an apartment anymore. I'm living out of a bag. My sister's not talking to me anymore. My mother's barely dealing with me. So everybody who loved me, they're fed up because I'm just ruining everybody else's life. Go to the hospital in the morning. Doctor tells my mother she's really it's time. She's not gonna hold on for much longer. So we're all like sad, and I'm going to her, and I'm looking at her because I know she's dying. She's gonna die any minute. Then one day I go up there in the morning, and she passed away. So I remember I go up to her and I like kissed her. I kissed her on her cheek, and then I kissed her on her forehead. And I was like, on Georgia, her name is Georgia. I said, on Georgia, I'm not gonna drink anymore. That's it. God spoke to me that day, and he was like, and I said, God, tell me what I need to do. Because I've been to rehab. I've been in and out of rehab. I've been to AA. Nothing never took, or I never opened my mind to take it. And I was like, God, I'm going to go to rehab again. I said, please just show me something that will keep me sober this time. But I didn't know where else to go. I said, I'm going to rehab. And my mother's like, leave tomorrow. And like, my aunt just passed away. She was like, you have to get out of here tomorrow. My sister, same thing. You need to go. Like, I'm crying. I'm reeking of liquor, of alcohol. My aunt just died. She's laying right there. My mother and sister told me, you have to leave tomorrow. They helped me make the arrangements. I was on the plane the next morning. So I didn't even go to my aunt's funeral. I'm in rehab. And I get there and I'm praying on the plane. And usually when you go to rehab, people that go to rehab knows this. You get drunk before you go in there.
100%. 100%.
And every time I went, that's exactly what I did.
100%.
But this time, Mike, this was different.
Wow.
I was on the plane because I went to Florida. I was on the plane. I didn't drink. When I was
Which rehab you went to in Florida?
Beachway.
Oh, Beachway. I went to Ocean Breeze. I went to Ocean Breeze twice. Okay. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
The one I went to was in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
So I went there. In the airport waiting for the plane, I was just praying. I didn't go drink. On the plane, didn't drink. Got off the airport, didn't drink. They picked me up. And I'm just praying. I'm like, God, I'm open to whatever you need to show me. I'm open this time. This is going to be different. So I'm in there. I'm detoxing. And then God knocks on my door. And I'm detoxing before I go into regular population, everybody else. Boyhead Russian dude, tattoos all over, comes in and say, Leonard? I said, yeah. He tells me, he said, Mike. He said, I'm your therapist. He said, I'm really not supposed to be speaking to you right now, but I saw you're from Brooklyn, and I'm from Brooklyn too. So I'm like, all right. So he said, you mind if I sit down and talk with you? I was like, whatever, sure. So I'm still like, I'm praying, like, open my mind. And then this Russian dude, boyhead, tattoos, the last person you think me and him connect. We sat there, Mike, and talked for 3 hours.
Wow.
This is a guy who wasn't supposed to come to speak to me. Didn't know me, didn't know how I looked, who I was, but just saw Brooklyn on my file and came and sat. We sat for 3 hours. We talked. And this is the first time. And again, this is God, because I said, God, show me what to do. I'm just pouring out every single detail on my story, like from childhood to my father to losing a job to my ex-wife leaving me. I mean, everything. And we're just talking. He was like, it sounds like you have a lot of trauma in your life. So I'm like, I don't know, trauma. Nah. So I'm asking God, and I'm still saying, pushing him away. I'm like, I don't have no trauma, man. Come on. He's like, no, you do. He said, listen, not only am I your personal therapist, I'm in charge of the trauma therapy group here. He said, we're only one of 3 rehabs in the country that have trauma therapy, that has someone, for that. I'm designated just to do that. And that's who I am. So he said, I think you should come when you get into regular population, just, maybe you should come to the trauma therapy. I think you would. It's a group. He said it's optional. You don't have to do it, but you should come. I think you would get a lot out of it. And he said, you've been on this road before. And he's the one who told me, he said, you don't have another relapse in you, brother. He said, you need to handle this now. So I kind of was like, whatever. So I get into regular population. Now I'm with everybody in the rehab. So I start asking around because that conversation just stayed on my head. I'm like, yo, y'all heard of this trauma thing? And they was like, yo, don't go there, man. It's crazy. Only crazy people go in there. They come out of there crying. And I heard they be breaking stuff in it. He said, stay away from that. Like, oh, all right, I figured that. I figured it's crazy. So Mike comes up to me like a week later. He said, "Hey, have you ever thought about the trauma?" And I was like, Mike, for real? I mean, her name is Will. I'm sorry, I say Mike. His name is Will. I said, Will, between you and I, everybody's telling me it's a bunch of crazy people up in there. You sure you want me to go up in there? So he starts laughing. He was like, listen, come in there for 5 minutes. If you don't like it, you can get up and leave. He said, look, I told you it's optional. He said, but I really think this can help you. So in my back of my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. But then God spoke to me again. God said, you asked me to show you, to open your mind to getting sober.
Facts.
You asked me to show you what you need to do. I never heard of trauma. No one ever told me I had trauma before. I never thought I had trauma. I knew it. I guess I could tell you what the definition was, but I never thought that I had it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go try it. I asked God to show me, and I said, I'm going to listen this time, and I'm going to take advice and recommendations. So I'm going to go. Mike, I was in there for 2 minutes, man. I was bawling, crying.
Whoa.
Bawling. I mean, it just all came out, man. And I ended up staying at that rehab for almost 5 months because I went through trauma therapy all that whole time. And when I tell you that saved my life, dealing with my trauma, and that got me sober, that's an understatement, brother, because that really put me put me where I'm at today.
What kind of therapy did they use? Because when I went, I did trauma therapy and I did EMDR, like where they take you back to the traumatic moment and they try to get you to relive it, and I had to hold these things in my hands and it was like vibrating and this and that, and it take you back to the moment. What kind of trauma therapy did they do down there? Do you remember?
Yeah, the EMDR, it was similar to that. A lot of exercises.
Serious.
Yeah, and
that joint serious.
And I went back, and this is the thing. I went back to my childhood, growing up with my father, and I never put 2 and 2 together. But I was like, wow, a lot of it came, and he brought it all out. The trauma therapy brought it all out. Like, I didn't realize how resentful I was from my childhood and my father's situation, how angry I was, and how this turned me into being shut down. And the only thing that bring me out of that was the drinking. And it was just deep. And it's like, it opened up a lot of stuff, that baggage I had that I didn't know I had to be unleashed. You know what I mean? So, and that was my last stint at rehab. And that was it. And, so my wake up call was when my aunt passed away, and God spoke. I talked to God, and he talked back. He was like, I'm going to give you this, but you have to follow my instructions.
I did the same thing. My second trip to rehab, I was in a bed and my ex-wife was in there, my second wife, and I couldn't stop drinking. And she asked me, did I want her to take me to the crisis unit? And I was like, nah, I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
And it seems like every alcoholic, especially when I hear about alcoholics, I went to some NA meetings, but not a lot. But in AA meetings, we all had that moment where I got on my knees and I was like, God, either help me or take me. Like, I can't do nothing. You know what I mean? It was that breaking point. And then another thing I related to what you just saying was, I had a couple friends that died from their health when they was in the hospital. And when I was sitting in there, I saw them dying and I was like, this can't be me. Then I realized I was a food addict, and I just did the same 12 steps that I did from alcohol, and that changed my life. Because that experiences in the hospital, when you seeing people like that, I was able to eternalize what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And I try to take something from people that I know that die. If they lived a long time, like, what was they doing positive? If their life was short, what could I do different than what they did? You get what I'm saying? So that was good. But now you out, and how did you hit the ground running? Did you go to meetings? What was your plan when you hit the ground running?
So this is the thing. So my whole thing when I was getting sober, and I always said, when I do get sober, I have to find my purpose, because I was like, I don't want to get, so I went through college, got into the finance world. I had all these goals and ambitions. I was very ambitious. I was very structured. I knew what I wanted to do in life and my career, until drinking just started taking control of me and took me off that path. But I always said, I don't want to just get sober. I want to have a purpose. I want to get back to life making a difference, succeeding, like I was when I was working in finance or when I was before my life. Had that same ambition, that same drive. I didn't know what the vehicle was going to be yet, but I knew whether it was going to be still in finance or doing something else, but I knew I wanted to be something. I still wanted to achieve. I don't want to just be, and I don't know if it's just me, but I met too many people on my path to recovery that was sober. But Mike, I'll be honest, they just weren't happy. They were sober. They were
I run into some people like that, and honestly, and I hope some people from AA might get mad at me, this and this, blah blah blah, but a lot of people that just use the moniker don't drink and go to meetings,
right,
but they never actually do the steps. You get what I'm saying? Because the steps, that's what brought me to freedom. That's what made me happy, free, and be able to go do what God want me to do. Finding my purpose, like what you're talking about. You get what I'm saying? So you have people that's sitting in there that's like dry drunks.
Yep.
They're not drinking, but they still have the characteristics of somebody that's drinking. Angry, you know what I'm saying? Resentful, got some bitterness, like you saying, not happy. You know what I mean? But you can carry on.
Right, exactly right. And I mean, I saw that, and not everybody. I mean, but I saw that, and I was like, right, you still feel like you're in prison with the addiction. The addiction still has you in prison because you're not free, like you said, not enjoying your life. So I was like, I want to enjoy life. I want to have goals. I want to set them, and I want to achieve the highest level. I don't know what it is yet, but that's what I'm going to do. So I get out of rehab, went back, didn't have not much, but went back to live with my mother again. So now I'm 40 plus and I'm living with my mother. So, and my mother, she's very disciplined too. So that was a blessing as well. I didn't go back living on my own, trying to figure it out. I went with her. She was there. And I was disciplined, was there. I was waking up, working out, getting my life back together, and spending time with my mother, who, remember, she wasn't too happy with me before I went to She even gave it a second thought, but like, I don't know if he could come back here because I had nowhere to go. So she took me in, and I spent some time with her. And now that I'm there, I'm just, again, God is giving me the time to think and what I'm going to do. And I actually went back to work, went back to finance, and I actually started doing well. I was back to doing well, making good money, being sober, doing what I need to get sober. I'm running meetings. I'm really focused on sobriety, and I'm starting to find a joy that I never had before. Like now I'm like, wow, this is different. I'm joyful. I'm waking up. Everything wasn't perfect. I was still live my mother.
Yeah.
But I was happy. When I woke up happy, I woke up joyful. I woke up hopeful. I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. Now, what's next? What's the next step? Because again, that's where we get stuck, right? We get sober, pink cloud. Now what's next? We don't know anything, and then we go back to what's familiar. We go back to drinking. I said, not this time. I feel happy. What's next? Now I got to keep going. What's my purpose now? So I'm doing what I work, and then I'm like, this isn't it. I can't. This isn't my purpose. I'm doing well, praise God. I have my own. I moved out, got my own apartment, but this isn't it. So I'm thinking, and I'm running meetings, and I'm talking to other brothers, and I'm like, wow, there's something missing. Not only just for men, but for men of color, for Black men. Like we are so, and I'm just looking at it culturally. I'm not talking about race, and just culturally, we in our culture, we have to show this certain image, and that's what I went through. Maybe I'm sure you can relate, Mike. We got to be, even when I was married, I got to be the tough guy. I got to be the man. I can't show vulnerability. I can't cry for my wife.
Yeah.
I got 2 daughters. They can't see me cry. Like it was like that too. So I was like, I'm talking to these brothers, and I'm like, I need to go and help people who are like me. Like, it's okay to be a Black man and cry. It's okay to say, you know what, I need help. It should be okay to go to your wife and say, I need help, because that's better than you acting out and she has to leave you. It's better to be vulnerable in front of your children, because if not, they're not going to know you. They're going to be out of your life. Like there's parts of my kids' life, Mike, I don't even remember.
Mm.
And I almost cry every time I say that, but it's true. When they were growing up, I was so drinking and drunk all the time. There's times I be back like I don't remember when they were 5 and they were 6 and 8 or 7 and 9. Like you don't want that. And I had to go through it, but I'm like, you don't have to go through that. And we need to be able to be open about our problems and attack them before they take control. So I was like, what could I do? Like I was running these meetings, I was sponsoring guys, gentlemen, men, but I was like, I always wanted to coach. And I thought I would be a life coach, but then I did more research and I knew there was recovery coaching. I was like, life coaching is cool, okay, but I want to coach people in recovery. So I went and got training for it. I just didn't want to jump on social media and be like, I'm a recovery coach, come talk to me. I wanted to get trained to do it. So how could I not only attract these men to speak to, but how can I talk to them? I knew I had a story and I knew my story could help and serve, but I wanted to be able to really go take a man through where they're at now and where they want to be. And I think that's important too. You got to have a purpose. You got to know where you're going or where you want to go in recovery. Like, what do you want your life to look like? Not just, you don't want to just be sober. Like, I want to get sober. Nah, it's more to life than that. And that's what I wanted to help brothers do. Like, show them there's more to life than just getting sober. Because if you just want to get sober and that's it, and you don't have any purpose or you're not happy or joyful, you will definitely go back to that.
Did you have experience doing the 12 steps?
Yeah, I went through the step when during the time I was in AA, I went through the steps. I went through all the stuff.
And how was that experience for you, especially like the inventory and having to confess everything on step 5? Like, what was that like for you? Because that's what changed my life. Like, what was that experience like for you?
No, the steps. I mean, and again, I look at like AA as community, right? Like, it doesn't. AA won't get you sober, but it's a community to help you stay sober. So people talk about different recovery groups, but those groups are for community, not to. You got to do the work to stay sober.
100%, 100%. You definitely got to do.
You can't just go to AA meeting and be like, you're gonna get sober. No, and that's why people give it a bad rap. I'm like, well, that's not what it's for. Really, it's for that community. And these are one of the tools that AA gives you, the 12 steps, which is a tool that will help you get sober. And like you said,
hold up, yeah. Your thing mute. I can't hear you. Hello? I can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm
my
mic. Sorry. But yeah, that was a tool that also structured my recovery path as well. That played a big role, especially. I mean, going through it, and it was one that gave you structure and recovery, and just having to go back to people, ask for forgiveness, and things like that.
Yeah,
that was a big thing. And just knowing, you know what that also told me, Mike? A big lesson is that guilt is a useless emotion, because you will go to people and they won't forgive you. And I remember, and I literally went through the steps calling people. They was like, "What are you calling me for? You got some nerve." Like,
yeah, they said it's gonna be like that.
It's
gonna happen. It's gonna happen. That's why we do the other steps before that to prepare us,
right?
Just in case that happens. That's why
I went
through the steps. I went
through them twice, actually. So the second time, I was more like, okay, I'm just gonna do this. But it's true. I mean, people will not forgive you, and people will judge you.
Yep.
But hey, shame and guilt will not get you sober. Will not change you. Will not make you the man God wants you to be. And those people, some of them have, rightfully so. That's their decision, and you have to respect it.
Indeed.
But that's one thing it definitely taught me.
Speaking of forgiveness, were you able to forgive your father?
That's a great question, and I knew he was going to ask me this. But But this is how I look at it now. And I was on
Mhm.
another podcast a couple months ago and I answered the same question. When I first got sober, when I first went through trauma, I knew it had a lot to do with my father, why I drank.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was a lot of resentment there. And I would beat on him every time somebody asked me about my father and my trauma. I had nothing nice to say about my father. I would just go on and on about how he did this to me, how he did that, how he wasn't there for me, how he was lazy.
Mhm.
And that was resentment I had, rightfully so, and I had to get it out. And these things did happen. I was telling the truth. But I look
Mhm.
back now as I become more mature in my recovery, and I give my father grace. You know why? Because he was an
Mhm.
alcoholic and he didn't know. I think we are blessed to actually be able to admit our addiction and do something about it. And by the grace of God,
Mm.
we're living today,
All
right?
facts. All facts.
Um, my father, he didn't, for whatever reason, whether he didn't want to or he didn't listen to someone or no one was there for him to tell him, hey, you're messing up. He didn't get that. You know, we could easily not be on this earth as well. But for some reason, God sought us out to get sober, to beat that addiction and serve others. My father didn't get that opportunity.
Mm.
So, on my aunt. So I look back and I said, my father did the best he could. He was an alcoholic. It's but
Mhm.
so much so much expectations you could have on a man who's an alcoholic and whose
Facts.
life was controlled by a substance.
Facts.
So now I look back at him and I used to be like, I forgive him, but I'm like, that was my father.
Mm.
I don't have to forgive him for anything.
Mm.
He did the
Do you
best
for,
he could.
yeah. Do you forgive yourself?
I definitely forgive myself. I definitely forgive
Mm.
myself. And that was tough too. Because I
Mm.
still look back. And even today, sometimes it'll flash in my head like, damn, I gotta look at my marriage. You know, did I F that up? Was that just me? You know, but I mean, I I'm on this path for a reason. There was a reason.
That was gonna
And
be my next question about that. Um, because I know I went through this when the revelation hit me when I came home. Like, does she even notice Leonard?
yeah, she knows me. We weren't together. We were never together. She never met this version of Lenny. No, Leonard. No,
That's what I'm saying.
she
Like,
never met.
and does this version of Leonard even know her?
No, unfortunately. And I mean, and you know, and she makes cracks jokes too. We're
Mhm.
like, oh, somebody else is gonna get to enjoy the new you.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
But
remember when I came home from rehab and I went to with my second wife and I went to marriage counseling and this was the first time I was sober
yeah, yeah,
ever with her, and she answering questions and this and I'm like, yo, like now my brain is not flogged up. The
right,
case
right.
is done. I'm
Yeah,
sober. I'm like, wow, the way she answering questions, like I don't really know her like that in terms
right.
of this, in terms of a marriage type thing. And I was thinking about you, like the sober you really never got a chance to know her and her know the sober you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. When you lose things in addiction, when you're an active addiction,
Mm-hmm.
that's the sad part because you feel like, you know, if you were sober, maybe it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
but again, what is lost is lost. So, you know, she's a great woman and I'm blessed to still have in my life because we're raising my two beautiful daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's a great mother. She's a great person. You know, I have nothing negative to say about her ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's a great person, great mother. I'm blessed for that. And we do get along and we are both focused and we're on the same page when it comes to our daughters. So that's a
Mm.
blessing as well. So, you know,
Down to two final questions.
sure.
Why do you feel that recovery? I know you've been in the rooms, you see the lack of our representation in the rooms
Right.
in terms of recovery and stuff. Why you think that is so hard to get our people to want to go get the help?
Yeah, I think that's how it's the culture. I mean, we are not. It's tough for us to admit to be vulnerable, especially black
Mhm,
men. Black
mhm,
men, we're so. I don't know what other race of men have so much pressure on them and stuff on their back. I mean, whether it's from how we're perceived by society, or how we're prejudged, or how we're overlooked for certain things as far as jobs or positions, or it's a lot, man. Besides, and there's a lot of pressure on us, not only as being a man for the woman
mhm,
that we choose to be with, we have to be a man for our children and a man for the rest of our family. We're looked at as the leader. And we have our pressure from the loved ones and from outside world. So it's tough for us to be vulnerable. Like
mhm,
we don't. I look at our count of my other brothers and sisters in different races, other brothers especially. They have no problem. They'll be
mhm,
like, "Hey,
mhm,
I need help. I'm going to rehab. I'm going to see this therapist. I'm doing that." We like, nah, we good. I'm too strong. Or nah, I can't let my wife know I got a problem. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but that's how I was raised. Like, my father's the
mhm,
same way.
mhm.
Like, they didn't,
Indeed,
and we were
indeed.
like, you don't speak until you're spoken to. You don't, seen. Don't you're rather seen, not heard. And so, of course, we grew up like that, and it's tough for us to admit. And it's not, and I'll just keep it 100. There's not a lot of us like you and I are trying to do talking. I don't see a lot of us out there. I don't see a lot of
Yeah.
Mike Melts. I don't see a lot of Mike Melts out there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't see a lot of
yeah,
little Murphys.
yeah,
I see a
yeah,
lot of other
indeed,
people, other races, but I
indeed,
don't see a lot of us. So
indeed,
we're like,
indeed.
who do we speak to? Do we speak to another person, or would you rather speak to a brother? And that's why I'm on this mission, on this movement. So like,
Mm,
we got to get out there, and I want to help. Again, I coach women, I coach men of color, I coach Caucasian men, I coach Asian men, whatever. But my main purpose is to serve black men who are dealing with addiction, struggling with addiction, and cannot stay sober.
indeed.
And I say that unapologetically.
Mm,
That's my mission. That's my focus. That's my purpose. You
mm,
want to come along on the ride and I can serve you? Of course, I'm here. I'm God's child. I will serve you. But my purpose, I know my purpose is to serve men of color, black men who are struggling.
breaking. What's more important to you? Breaking generational curses or generating generational wealth, and why?
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, you know what? I think until we break those curses, we
Mhm,
can't build wealth.
mm,
Because if we're not in a good place, whether those curses are mental health,
mhm,
addiction, trouble, even, unless we get out of that space into a new space, we can't. How are we going to build wealth? The foundation isn't strong enough. If
mhm,
you have addiction running in your family and everybody's an addict, what are we standing on to build wealth? To even take the lesson if someone's even trying to pass it down, right?
mhm,
Always say, I want my legacy to be like part of my legacy is to leave lessons for my daughters where they can
mm,
learn, you
mm,
know. And if I'm just an addict and I'm not breaking that curse, I'm continuing it. What lessons am I leaving? Like how can I even pass on? I'm not I'm not building wealth, so how can I pass it on to somebody? But if at
mm,
least I break that curse and now I'm leaving, now I'm better. Now I know I broke the curse. Now I'm in a place where I can learn about wealth and pass it on to my children. So I had to, but if I was still in full addiction, I wouldn't be able to.
indeed,
You know what I mean? If
indeed,
I'm making any sense, if I'm making sense.
indeed. And closing, brother, I want to congratulate you for being the one in your family breaking that generational curse. You got
Thank
your
you, man.
daughters coming after you, man. Congratulations on that. And now is your opportunity to tell the people, like, how do they get in touch with you? How can they get your services? You know what I'm saying? Talk about if you got websites, your social media. Let them know how to get in touch with you if it's some brothers or sisters out there struggling.
Cool, cool. And Mike, thanks again, brother. You're
Oh,
you're
no
amazing,
problem, brother.
brother. I appreciate you having me. Great talking to you on this platform. Yeah, so I have a website. Again, I'm a certified professional addiction recovery coach.
Mm-hmm.
And my coaching biz firm is called Empowered Through Sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a website and it's empoweredthroughsobriety.com. Also find me on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, at Empowered Through Sobriety. So you can find me
Okay.
there. There's links to set up. You want to do a one-on-one call, group coaching, everything like that. You can find everything on the website and on the social media platforms. There's links. So always a way to contact me: email, DM, or through the website.
All right, man. So thanks, Leonard, for coming on. I want to link up with you to see, like, if you have any kind of forums or speaking engagements and you need somebody to come with you, I love to come in, join you in and tell my story a little bit. And you know what I mean? Anything I can
Oh,
help you
definitely, man.
with,
That'd be
what you
great.
got, anything I can help you with that you got going on, just give me a call, brother, and I'll be there.
Appreciate
All
that,
right.
brother. Definitely,
All
definitely, no doubt.
right, man. Thanks for
All
coming
right,
on, man. And I'll
thank
be
you.
sending you clips from this too. All right.
Perfect. Cool. Thanks a
All
lot,
right, no
man.
doubt, brother.
Talk soon.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wow. Amazing story by our brother, man. Another great podcast night. And tune in next week for Pain to Purpose podcast, where Most High willing, I'll be bringing on another good guest. So enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom.